Hey guys, how's it going? I've recently started recording a Kenshi series, and I have like 11, 13, 14 mods, something like that. I have a huge list of mods, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a short video on what the hell I have going on here. So instead of listing all these mods, you can find all these in the Steam Workshop. I didn't go out of my way really to get a lot of these. I just went into the workshop and looked through some things, tried different things out over the past few months. Ended up really liking my playthrough with these particular mods. I did have a a bigger backpack mod that allowed stacking. It's a little bit cheaty. I'm not going to use that for my series, but I'm going to use the rest of these things. 256 squad limit, bigger army is, you know, a lot more to manage, but it's really good in the long run, of course. Even though you can easily get a small squad of people, and once they're trained up, they can take on a lot of stuff. Shops have more items, pretty self explanatory. Throne, also self explanatory. It's one item, a throne, which I don't honestly know if I'm really going to recommend keeping this because as of right now, a lot of times when your people are on idle, when they go idle or they're waiting in between jobs and they have nothing else to keep them busy, they'll run off and sit just about anywhere. So they'll also sit on your throne. So yeah, if you're looking for immersion of like I'm the leader and then you walk up and like somebody's sitting in your throne like every couple of minutes because they're not ready to go harvest their wheat yet. Scott starts to also adds a lot more variety to your games. It just adds different game start scenarios. There's a lot of really interesting looking ones. For my series, I'm doing one of the default ones where you start as you have a party of two, and you start as slaves in the holy. We're slaves of the holy nation. Yeah, it's a bit of a rough start. Not as rough as already starting with your arm cut off, though. Probably the worst one. Recruit prisoners. I find this is very important as a immersion and just makes the game a little easier in my opinion. Because normally your only recruitment option is hiring people for between like 3 grand and I think 9 grand in taverns. So it can become a little pricey when you're first starting out, but if you're able to capture people, they have different dialogue options to either give them certain items or just talk to them. Pick the right dialogue choices and have people join you. Um, so you basically will just be defeating people and then imprisoning them in your cages for a little while, and then eventually you'll try and open up these dialogue options to recruit them to your cause. More bounties, self explanatory, it is just more bounties. Longer mercenary contracts, also pretty much this what it says. I have a darkening UI just because I like it better, darker. Um, Advanced training mod, another. If you were going to only use a couple of mods with this game and you wanted to keep it as vanilla as possible, and you just wanted a recommendation of a couple of mods, I would say, um, I would say this one as advanced training is probably one of the biggest game changing mods, as in the fact that you can go train of not right away. At first, you need to get your ass kicked because there's only You need a lot of, at least in my last playthrough, it takes a bit of stuff because you have to research a lot of things through your research bench to be able to get to the advanced training dummies. And then I think it even requires, it might require some ancient, not the ancient books, but not just regular books, but like ancient science books or something like that. I forget exactly what it is. I'll remember as I do more of my series, but I do remember the advanced training dummies for toughness come later on in your research, and you don't get them right away. So you don't have access to this from the beginning, so it's not too cheaty. You do need to actually research a lot of things to get the toughness training, but you can work on, I think these go up to like level 75 or something. Toughness and strength, or no, you know what? I don't know if they do strength. They do basically every other stat, but they don't do strength. Sparring, I, advanced training, I highly recommend it. It just takes a little bit of the grind away for getting your toughness up, because later on in the game, with you, especially if you're going to use 256 squad limit and you have a large group of people and you're going to have those people training, and you don't want to have to go out and babysit them constantly and try and keep them from getting their limbs chopped off while they get their toughness. Lots of little things you can do to try and get toughness up. I've even seen people go as far to like letting their party members get captured by like fogmen and getting them. I believe they start eating their limbs and while they're alive, and then just bandaging them and keeping them alive while these fogmen try and eat them. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of different things you can do. But advanced training, very good. Takes the grindiness away from leveling your toughness and your strength, and I keep saying strength, not strength, but your melee defense, melee attack, um, block picking, things like that. Sparring, this only goes up to I think level 20, but you can raise your melee defense to level 20. I think with this, it gives you a. You're not really tough, but it keeps you from being completely squishy when it comes to your melee defense and your. I think it's just melee defense. I don't think you can get toughness with that. Training swords, that can get you toughness as well. Early on, you need to be able to make the swords, but they're not too bad. It's pretty easy to get a hold of. It takes a while though, and you need a prisoner to do something with that. Like what I used to do is get capture some poor unfortunate guy, put him in a cage, and then I would arm him with a training sword, and then lock the doors to my house, and then let him out, and then have like either everybody on passive and then just one person that was gonna train, uh, sit there and train with him. So give them each training swords. It's just a mod that basically makes swords that don't do any damage whatsoever, no blunt damage, no nothing. So you can just beat the hell out of each other forever with no ill effects. But eventually you need to change your sword and beat the hell out of your prisoner, and hopefully not chop any of their arms off, especially if you want to recruit them later. But yeah, I use that some, but still, I recommend advanced training dummies over that. I don't know if you'll even see me use the training swords in the mod, or in my series with these mods. Pocket change adds some more currency of cats on individual NPCs, to their loot. Pocket change 2.0 is a little bit. He claims it's a little harsher version because it's not. Um, the guy that made this, forgive me, I can't remember his name, but he said that there are requests for something with not so much money, because his other version of Pocket Change gives you a lot. It gives you quite a bit more money per NPC. They'd have like I don't know, like 100, 200 cats, and like now they'll have like five or six. I believe that's about how it goes. All I know is it's less money, so you don't end up really getting a lot, but a little bit here and there, so it adds up. Guard posts, just really handy. It's just basically it looks like a little mat that you place on the ground. Basically, that's all it is. But what it does is it gives you something so you can assign your your people to guard an area. You can put a guard post there and then set it as a job for them, and they'll just stand there the entire time, except for when they're hungry and go eat and stuff. So yeah, you'll definitely see me use that. Tents just gives you more variants of tents to make. I'm not entirely sure if they actually help you in acid rain like the scrap tent that you can make, but fishing allows you to fish and cook those fish and dry them. Another thing you can do to get food, because I just felt like, hey, they should, you know, I really like this guy's mod because I always felt like, hey, you should be able to catch fish in the game. Copper drill. You can have an iron drill. Why not a copper drill? Eventually, when you're able to research it. Adventurers Guild of Lore Friend Recruitment. This is, I guess, people will, like certain Adventurers Guild representatives will come. Like, you can talk to them. They'll come to different towns and be sitting in the taverns and bars and shit, and you can go and talk to them, and you can hire them, and I guess they bring recruitment candidates, so to speak, to your settlement. So that's something. These are, excuse me, these are just some nice Japanese style buildings, which are very expensive to do research for, so they come way later in the game. Reactive World, I would recommend this mod. This person did a great job. It just kind of expands the immersion of the game, making a little more. Well, it's kind of what it says. Reactive World. It's makes some of your decisions have more consequence than originally in the game. So yeah, things like certain factions being able to take over certain towns, like if depending on what you decide to do, and things like that. Like, I have to actually read all the patch notes again on Reactive World. I just know that it does quite a bit in in the immersion of the game, and how different factions and other things in the game interact with you depending on what you've chose to do. Strength training equipment. From what I remember, advanced training dummies doesn't give you anything to train your strength specifically, so this just adds some weight benches to let people lift weights and train like they were in a prison yard. So I mean, let's do that. Why not? It's Kenshi. Um, you need your strength. You need all your stats in this game. So um, you know, it takes a long time to train, no matter what one of these things you use. So your people could be there training forever for quite a while. So I mean, it's not instant, but it's not so hard as having to go out and lose fights over. You're gonna go lose fights anyway, but to go out and lose fights over and over and over again can be a bit of a grind when you're starting out, especially if you're doing a series or something and you're like, well, I kind of want it to be a little bit more entertaining than just dying constantly or just losing every battle you fight. But you know, that's just me personally. Some people are totally fine with doing that, and that's, hey, more power to you. That's great. Just not for me. So, if you like any of these mods, you can find them all in the Steam Workshop. Everybody that made these, big thanks to you because you've really made a great game better. Because I really believe, like, a lot of these mods, like Advanced Training Dummies, have made this game great. That and, where it is, recruiting prisoners, and being able to train. It's just two of the must-have mods, in my opinion. A lot of these things you can do without. They just add some little things here and there. They just spice it up a bit. But those two mods, they're like a must-have. They just take a little bit of the grind out of it. So, that being said, these are the mods that I'll be using in my playthrough of Kenshi. And for everything else that I'm doing, I'm currently doing another. I'm doing a warband mod of 1257 AD Enhanced Edition, which I will be continuing on. I have to read some more and see what's going on with the. There's an updated version of that, and I will be looking. Thanks to who have commented about that. I can't remember if there was a couple people or not, but thanks for letting me know that there was a new version. I'll be looking at the patch notes to see if I want to start a new campaign on there and kind of re-catch up, so that may take me a little bit of time because I don't only do this, I just do this as a little hobby. I don't get a whole lot of time during the week to do this, so I try and get a video up at least one or two a week. So yeah, I mean, I try and get as much of this stuff up as I can to try and get some entertainment out there, because especially Kenshi is a really entertaining game to watch. But I do enjoy to watch warband videos also, so I want to get those out as well because they can be entertaining. But these are the two main ones I'm doing right now. I may do more in the future. It's even a possibility of doing something like 7 Days to Die video with a few friends and my fiance. We all like to play that quite a bit on my multiplayer server that we kind of run. So it's good. We'll just have to see what we can do about making a series on that and getting everybody on board and stuff. And we'll see. We'll see what we do. But right now, I just want to keep it simple. I'm still learning a lot of video editing and that. And yeah, that's just a little bit on what's going on right now. This is what we're going to be doing with Kenshi. So there you have it, guys. I'm going to end this video now. I got some more work to do on an episode for Kenshi, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Until next time, guys, have a good time. See ya.